Yo guys, what's going on? It's Brian and Jim from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we have another compilation video for you. We're going to be looking at the Bases Loaded series for the NES.
Originally released in 1987, Bases Loaded went to become one of the most successful and popular sports franchises on the NES, and it continued to make games all the way up until the Sony PlayStation. It was developed and published by RoccoW, which in Japan was really known as mainly a publisher of Japanese-centric games, and in America, it was a developer for a few games, but it also made ports of games such as R-Type 3 and Jurassic Park on the Super NES.
Alright, that's enough of that. We don't need any more of a history lesson. We got 4 of these goddamn games to go through, so let's just get started reviewing. Now, with Bases Loaded, the graphics, hey, we're gonna admit, it looks pretty goddamn impressive. This isometric or third-person view, whatever you want to call it, it actually has a lot of detail, and they attempt to make some shadowing. Well, we didn't see that before, and it's pretty impressive this early for the NES. The fielders, they actually look like humans now, and they even have a little smudge for a face. Isn't that adorable? Anyway, I gave the graphics a 7, and Jim gave them an 8.
The sound, well, it's got its ups and downs. The ups, the intro is pretty damn good, and the music during the game itself is pretty catchy. Another added bonus is, whenever there's base runners, the music will change depending on the situation. So there's a good little bit of detail put into that. Unfortunately, the sounds for the hitting, the throwing, the ball moving itself, it's kind of weak. Barely anything to write home about. And there's actually some voiceover work in the game, and while it's short, it's pretty impressive for the time. So, overall, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's kind of like watching your mom get raped, but also winning the lottery at the same time. So, we gave them 5s.
The control is where this game starts to go downhill real fast. I mean, from these clips, you'll see me and Jim, we missed the ball a whole bunch of times. And although we may suck in general at these baseball games, in most of the NES games, we connect with the ball about 70% of the time. Here, we're lucky if we get a couple. Now, I was even a little better than Jim at getting the ball, but I still felt the control sucked. There's 4 different hits based on the direction you hit on the D-pad. You can see you go high, low, and just kind of move it left or right a little bit. It's just not intuitive. It's not easy to control. It feels like there's a bit of a delay. And not to mention the fielding, just take a look at this. It just sucks so bad. No matter where you want to throw it, it decides to go somewhere else. So, I gave it a 4, Jim gave it a 6.
The gameplay. Judging by this game alone, I don't know how we got to 4 others. But, I guess people liked it. So, we talked about the behind the picture view. It tries to emulate TV, but it's just so hard to do anything. You can't hit the ball. No matter what you do, you just have to get lucky. And really, it just takes away from the overall experience. It's not a fun game. It's not a smooth game. The fielding is slow. So goddamn slow.
Slow as a turtle's dick.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. But yeah, so it's slow.
Turtles are slow. Get it?
Are you done?
Okay, I'm done.
So, like I was saying, it could be a little faster.
It's slow.
And besides that, it's just little things. Advancing the base runners sucks. Kind of throwing the bases can be a little convoluted sometimes. The game just kind of decides when it really wants to work and when it doesn't. It's below average. Brian gave it a 4 and I gave it a 5.
The originality, like most early baseball games, it got some points. But compared to the previous baseball games we've done, which received 10s, this game, it offered an interesting new isometric view. You could apparently charge the mound, and me and Jim never figured out how to do it. So, overall, I gave it a 7, Jim gave it a 6. Nothing too impressive.
Alright, the replayability, a bright spot. So you get 12 different teams to play as, and even though the names of the teams and the players aren't licensed, each team does actually have different characteristics, and they all play a little differently. Some are better at pitching, some are more well-rounded. Besides that, you can play one of 2 ways. There's either a single game mode, or you can play through a long season.
Long like my dick!
Really? You know, I'm trying to be serious here, like trying to put our name up and shit like that.
Uh-huh, is that why you made that tasteful mom joke?
When I did it, it was cute. Anyway, there's a lot to offer in this game. So, overall, we gave it 9s.
So you heard us rant and rave about this game, but overall, we couldn't give this above a 4.5. It's just below average, even though it tried to look pretty.
Alright. Bases Loaded 2. Well, this was made directly for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it didn't have an arcade port to start either. It was released in 1988, and, once again, it was developed by Jaleco.
Yeah, we know that. Time to end.
What? No, this is my thing.
No.
But I give the history of it.
I don't care.
I'm the info guy.
We got 3 more of these fuckers to go. You're done.
I'll be back.
Graphically, this game actually steps down from the previous title. They try to add this extra shading, which just makes it look like little gray blobs on the players themselves. And the fielding, take a look at this. It's clearly much smaller and less detailed than the original game. So, we both gave it a 6.
So like I was saying, this game was developed by Toes.
God damn,
and they're
you're
also
doing sound!
Alright, well the sound's a major degrade from the first one too. It has the same intro music in the startup screen. The music in the game, there's no variation. It's the same song over and over again. Now at first, it's not bad. It's actually kind of nice. But after a while, it really starts to grate on your ears. And after maybe 15-20 minutes of playing, your ears are going to be basically bleeding after this. You ever taken a shit and clean your ears with a Q-tip at the same time, but then fall off the toilet and the Q-tip jams into the wall and then you start bleeding everywhere? It's like that. So, overall, we gave it 4s.
What the fuck is the matter with you? God damn it. Anyway, the control. Jim finally saw the light and agrees with me this time. He sees all the things I saw in the first game. Same exact setup, they changed nothing, still just as laggy. So, overall, we gave it 4s.
The gameplay, well, this is another area where the game took a hit. It's got all the same problems of the first one, but the camera angle and the fielding was changed up, and it's a lot worse. It's really not intuitive, and it's a pain in the ass. It's also still pretty goddamn impossible to hit anything. So, like we said, I saw the light, we both gave it 4s. It's pretty shitty.
Okay, so at first me and Jim were a little skeptical about the originality in this game. But then we found out you can change up your pictures, and each one has this biorhythm graph, where you see the physical, sensitivity, and intellectual. Apparently this guy Fresher is an asshole because he's got -6 intellectual. But anyway, we found that pretty interesting, and we hadn't seen that before. And my personal favorite, when you do get a home run, watch this animation that pitcher does. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. Just solely based on that and the little pitcher switch up. Jim gave it a 6, I gave it a 7.
Not much has changed as far as the playability goes. Still have a bunch of teams, they all still play a little different. You still have the same game modes. But this time you actually have to have at least a 75 and 55 record to advance to the playoffs. So, that's different. We gave it 9s again.
Overall, this is definitely a downgrade from Bases Loaded 1. We gave it a 4, and if you're going to choose, go with number 1 over 2.
Here we go. Bases Loaded 3. The third game in the series. It was released in 1991. I've got nothing for this one.
That's right, that little bitch learned his lesson.
So you think.
Anyway, graphically, this game...
It was published by Jaleco.
That's a ball tap. Anyway, graphically, this is the best of the series. It combines, kind of 1 and 2. They add extra shading, but this time they did it right. The animations are much more smooth. And check out this fielding. These guys look almost as detailed as the pitchers and batters. So, we both gave it 8s.
Alright, the sound. Huge improvement over the last 2 games. It kind of goes back to the first game where you get different tunes for different fielding situations. But besides that, it gives you a nice remix version of the original theme. And, the sound really varies. You get some upbeat ones, you get the more funky one, which, listen to this during the player select screen. Yeah, that's the shit right there. The only reason we gave it 7s is because, after a while, the sounds do get a little annoying. And it gets a little annoying when all the nice tunes are being interrupted by the voiceover work. But, like we said, it's not bad, definite improvement.
As far as control, me and Jim had high hopes. The game looked better, it sounded better, but guess what? It doesn't control any better. Although Jim thought it was maybe 1 score higher. Realistically, they tried to implement this new throwing to bases where it's linked to your D-pad. It's not intuitive, and it goes against everything you think immediately. Like hitting up will go to the second base, not home. It's little things that just throw you off, and it really annoyed us. The batting, we admit, is much more improved, and there's less lag. But like I said, overall, the control is still just something we didn't find appealing in this game. So I gave it a 4, and Jim gave it a 5.
The gameplay. The game, it's faster, just as fast as 2 when it comes to batting in a lot of ways, but the base running again is so goddamn slow. You can actually do double plays now, which is pretty cool, and your base runners can turn around while they're going. But actually getting them to do it is such a pain in the ass, it's not really worth it, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to do it when you don't want to. Also, you can kind of get stuck in ways that you can start throwing to yourself. It's a pain in the balls. You do get some different gameplay options, you get different fields with different statistics. That's fine, the players still all have different stats, that's cool. You can actually edit your rosters now, so that's another piece of added stuff. But overall, just the game doesn't flow. We gave it 4s, it's still crap.
So, you can choose your own stadium, which each has its own little stats. You can change your roster around. You're throwing, like I mentioned earlier, although it's annoying, it's an interesting thing that the D-pad, each direction is linked to one of the bases, and you can move around in the batter's box. Like the previous title, this game is pretty high on originality, and this time it received 7 from both me and Jim.
For playability, holy shit! Well, they didn't do that much more, but it's a marginally funner game. And besides that, you have different fields with different statistics, you have more players, each with their own, pluses and minuses. And really, it's just a lot of little things, including gameplay, graphics, blah, 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 blah. It's a whole lot more full experience, and we couldn't help but give it 10s.
So overall, this game scored the highest from us, comparatively to all of the other 3 games. And, hey, we gave it a 5. The other games got 4s or 4.5s. That might not seem like a big difference, but, where this game fails is where they all fail. Gameplay and control. But still, it's the best of the best.
Alright, so Brian's not here right now. That means it's my time to shine. Well, Bases Loaded 4. It's the last game in our little retrospective. It was released in 91 in Japan and 93 in North America. Like the rest of them from 2 through 4, it was developed by Toes and published by Jaleco. And we didn't get to it before because someone's an asshole. But Toes is actually known for making a bunch of Dragon Ball games, Muscle, and for what? No, seriously? Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm almost done.
You're done. Get the dick out of your lasagna and stop.
Dick in my lasagna?
Yes. God damn it. You threw me off. Alright, fuck. Graphics, that's right. Anyway. God damn it, Jim! Anyway, this game looks almost identical to 3, the only difference being, check out this fielding. Now they're zoomed in a little too much. The guys still have their detail, but doesn't help when all you're looking at is goddamn green grass. Whatever. So, we knocked it down 1 point from the previous game. We gave it 7s.
Alright, well, for the sound, it's basically the same as it was last time. Which is good, but it's not going to win anything for creativity. Some of the sounds in-game can be a little, I guess a little choppier. But besides that, there's no huge difference. So, that being said, Brian gave it a 6 and I gave it a 7.
Look, I'm not going to waste any more additional time than I have to. Let this play speak for the game. Because of this stupid-ass throw-to-yourself glitch or whatever it was, I knocked it down to a 3. Jim still kept it at a 5. Fuck this game.
Alright. God damn it. What? How are these games popular? Alright, the gameplay. It's the same as the others. And remember that zoomed-in camera we talked about? Well, that's actually a real pain in the ass. Because it's not like the fielding wasn't good before. It sucked. But now it's even worse, as if that was possible. Because you don't see where the ball's going until it's too late, so it's impossible to play in your defense. So to help you out a little bit, they give you these, little dots in the field to show you where your fielders are. But guess what? That's still just as much of a pain in the ass to control. And it's grid-based again, so it's the closest guy has to go to it. it's garbage. We both gave it 4s. Fuck this game.
As far as originality, just like Bases Loaded 2 followed Bases Loaded 1 with a low score, this game got a 3. It added nothing new other than the field thing, which, okay, we'll give it points there, but we didn't even feel that was original. By this late in the game, other baseball games had better systems and implemented something similar. So, realistically, we couldn't give this above a 3.
Alright, for playability, it's the same again. So there is a lot of options and a lot of stuff to do, but it's all the same. There's nothing different. I don't know what to say about this. So we gave it 9s, and we knocked it down because it didn't really add anything, and we're sons of bitches like that. So, have fun. Also, there's no game ending screens, so yeah, another reason to knock the score down. Fuck this.
So overall, as you see right here, we gave this game a 4.5. So it's equal to 1, but it's not as good as 3, and it's slightly better than 2.
They all suck.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, hey, me and Jim were going through these baseball games. We find some fun ones here and there, but this series, we were just confused. As you see here, the best we gave was a 5. So that just makes it an average series. So, if you're going to waste your money, we suggest going with Bases Loaded 3. If you're really feeling nostalgic, get 1. But for dear God, do not get 2 or 4. They're just copies of 1 and 3 and done in a worse way. While playing this game, we enjoyed some Purple Monkey dishwasher. And remember to drink your beers and play your games responsibly. Thanks for watching, guys, and come in next week for our next game review.